Well, hey, you, and welcome back to another episode of the Miss Michaela Mae Show. I'm your host, Miss Michaela Mae, here with my corgis, Tank and Willie. And today we are going to talk about how there is no decision void of consequences. Because one of the things I've seen throughout our culture is we seem to have this imagination of I can make the perfect decision, and that decision will not have consequences. And that's how we are defining perfect. And so the first thing that I actually want to do is reframe the word perfect itself. So the original definition of perfect was perfect, meaning to make better. So I've never done this, but this is the metaphor that I'm thinking of. If we are in pottery and we're making out of clay and we're making a pot of some sort, you cannot perfect it unless you have something to start with in the first place. So if you just go up to, I think it's the spinner things, you can tell I've never done this before. So I don't know why this is the metaphor coming through, but if you walk up to the spinner thing and you never put clay on the thing and you never start molding it, you do not have something to make better. You do not have something to perfect. So, can we make a perfect decision, meaning the best decision in the moment, the most perfect decision in the moment, as in we have something in order to make better? Yes. But can we make a decision, as in if we're using the definition of perfect as flawless? There's no consequences, there's no mistakes. No, we can only make a decision that is best for us in the moment, and that for us the pros outweigh the cons, or maybe even the cons outweigh the pros, but we know this is the right thing and we know this is the best thing to do, and yet we still have to move forward. And the example that I always come back to is if drinking water, too much water, has a consequence, anything can have consequences, because especially if we drink too much water without like the proper minerals so our body can properly absorb it, then we could flood our body and we could overload our kidneys, because literally we're just having something go in one end and out the other. Some people have also, and yes, this may be an extreme, and yet there's still a consequence. Some people have drank too much water and internally drowned themselves to death. So if something even like drinking water has a consequence, anything has a consequence. And so the goal with this is going to be a very short and sweet episode, but the goal with this short and sweet episode is to not to provoke fear or scare you, but to be well aware of the pros and cons of every decision you make. So, not doing something has pros and cons, doing something has pros and cons, but the way our brain works, it tends to only want to see the cons of what we don't want to do and the benefits of what we do want to do. And so, whatever decision you need to make today, which it's really interesting because we actually did cover this topic a couple episodes ago, about decision, meaning the word decision, the DEC, indecision, from Latin, originally meant to cut off, meaning there was no other option. And so the question that I proposed at the end of that episode was, what decision do you make today? And the question that I'm going to propose to you today is, what pros and cons do you need to be aware of in the decision you want to make, but also in not making the decision you want to make, because that is also a decision too. And to really start to balance your perception of what are the pros and cons of both, instead of just looking at it for one or the other, because again, there is no decision that is totally void of consequences. It's the consequences that you want to live with and the consequences that you feel like are in the highest integrity with not only who you are, but who you want to be. So today is just a short and sweet Friday episode. We're going to wrap it up there. I'm your host, Miss Michaela Mae, here with my corgis, Tank and Willie, and we will talk to you tomorrow.